Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Dan is a serial entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience. He founded, scaled, and successfully exited 3 technology companies within 10 years. In 2012, he was named Canada's top angel investor. If you are a busy and burnt-out small business owner who wants to free up time, work less, and still grow your business, this video is for you. Okay, let's get started. Lesson number 1, the Buyback Principle. When the business starts taking off, most entrepreneurs immediately think about growing even bigger. So they create new positions and hire new people. This is a mistake. According to the Buyback Principle, the first thing you need to do is free up your time, not grow your business. In other words, don't hire to grow the business. Hire to buy back your time. Entrepreneurs who don't learn how to buy back their time eventually burn out and crash as the business grows. Look, I know you have a get things done and work hard mentality, but you are one person with a finite amount of time. You have company, family, and friends who are all demanding your time. Most entrepreneurs think that a profitable business comes from hard work. That may be true at the beginning, but a thriving business only comes when the leader, you, learns how to buy back their time. Dan says, the little-known secret to reaching the next stage of your business is spending your time on only the tasks that A, you excel at, B, you truly enjoy, and C, bring the highest revenue to your business. Likely 2 or 3 tasks fit that description. I am sure you know the 80-20 rule, but for entrepreneurs, the 95-5 rule applies. In other words, 5% of what you do really counts. 95% of your current work should be done by somebody else. Yes, 95%. This means if you worked for 10 hours today, only 30 minutes of it really contributes to the profit of your company. What's even worse is, when you don't enjoy something, you're also not as good at it. In other words, while you think you're sacrificing for a worthy cause by working hard at things that challenge you, you're actually costing your company. It's a lose-lose move. Look, no one sets out to become an overstressed workaholic business owner with declining health and relationships, but that's what's going to happen if you ignore the Buyback Principle. The Buyback Principle dictates that you shouldn't be checking emails unless you want to. When you're choosing what to do today, you should be selecting the highest value tasks. You should continually use every resource to buy back your time. Then fill that time with activities that light you up with energy and make you more money. Before, you probably thought that the more I work, the more productive my business will be. On the surface, this makes sense. But then you get trapped in the hamster wheel because you are busy working on the low-impact task or a high-impact task that someone else can do better than you. If you don't learn to work less and reinvest your energy into high-impact tasks, you will feel trapped as the business grows. This is because you will come up against what Dan calls the pain line, which I will explain in the next lesson. Lesson number 2, hitting the pain line. The pain line is the point at which growth becomes impossible. The more you grow, the more pain you experience. This work hard, no one can do it like me mentality works until it doesn't. You can sustain growth only up to a point, but then the emails, the to-dos, the low-value tasks you hate doing continue sucking your energy. It all creates a wall of pain. When you hit the wall of pain, you will do one of these 3 things. 1, sell. When an entrepreneur is experiencing so much pain in their business, they just want out at all costs. 2, sabotage. When they hit their pain line, they might be making bad decisions that sabotage the company's growth. It's a tricky one to see at first. Here are the kind of stupid decisions they make. Keep replacing key team players for small mistakes. Create a new website. Or just any other decisions that don't help the growth of the company. They don't realize they're actually sabotaging their own company. 3, stall. If you decide not to grow, in other words, stall, that's equal to a decision to slowly die. Marketplaces have to evolve because human nature forces them to. Susan will always want a faster bicycle. Kevin will always want a better iPhone. Even if you're a small business in a local market, if you don't evolve, your customers will leave for a better option. Now, ask yourself, is there anything you do in your business right now that gives you pain? Pain often provides a choice. Here, you can either continue as usual, busy, 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 or use Audit, Transfer, Fill to start working less and achieve more. What is Audit, Transfer, Fill, you might ask? That I will explain in the next lesson. Lesson number 3, the Buyback Loop. Audit, Transfer, Fill. A buyback loop occurs as you continually audit your time to determine the low-value tasks that are sucking your energy. Then you transfer those low-value tasks to someone who's better at them and enjoys them. Lastly, you fill your time with higher-value tasks that light you up and make you more money. So, audit, transfer, fill. Here's how to apply it. 1. Audit. What tasks do I hate doing that are easy and inexpensive to offer someone else? 2. Transfer. Who do I have on my team, or who can I hire, even part-time, to take these over? 3. Fill. What tasks should I focus on that I love doing that can immediately bring more money to my company? Sounds easy, right? But when you start to implement, you will be confused about what kind of work should I let someone else do, and what kind of work do I need to focus on? And that will be answered in the next lesson. Lesson number 4, the DRIP matrix. DRIP stands for delegation, replacement, investment, and production. The DRIP matrix allows you to see how valuable a task is in terms of money and energy. You first need to determine the value of a task and the energy it takes you to do it before you give it to somebody else. Let's go one by one in detail. 1. Delegation. Delegation is the task that makes you little money and it drains your energy. Tasks in the delegation quadrant are small tasks that are sucking your energy. Think about administrative work, billing, invoicing, etc. These tasks should be quickly removed from you. 2. Replacement. Tasks in replacement make you money, but it drains your energy. Here you'll find highly important tasks like selling, marketing, and managing your team. These tasks are high value, but they might not light you up the way they once did. 3. Investment. Tasks in this quadrant bring you little money now, but they have big future potential. Plus, they give you so much energy. This might be networking, writing a book, speaking at conferences, being interviewed on a podcast, or going to lunch with peers in your industry. This quadrant also includes hobbies and time spent with your family and friends. 4. Production. Tasks here make you lots of money and also light you up. This is where you want to spend as much time as possible. When most of your tasks are in this quadrant, you're making lots of money and your energy is high. If you only spend your time working on this quadrant, you're living in true freedom. The goal of the buyback principle is to help you to spend the majority of your time in the production quadrant, with some deposits into the investment quadrant. In general, you need to remove tasks in your delegation quadrant as quickly as possible. While removing tasks in the replacement quadrant takes more time, it is definitely possible. We will explain this in detail in coming lessons. Tasks in the production quadrant shouldn't be removed. You should be focused here. But this is where most people go wrong. Let me explain this with an example. Imagine you're a baker who loves making cookies. At first, it's a side hustle, but then it becomes a serious business. Your business keeps growing. You can't handle it alone anymore. So you hire a couple of college kids who love baking. And then the business keeps growing even more. While those college kids are baking, you're able to do the ordering, run to the store to pick up supplies, or throw up some pictures on social media. Eventually, you're not baking at all. You're doing payroll, ordering supplies, and managing customers. You have become the administrator of your business. And when you think about going to work on Monday, you're already dreading it because you're doing everything except what you love about your business, which is baking. That's what a ton of entrepreneurs do. Hiring is absolutely how you grow, but you must hire to save your time. Otherwise, you're putting yourself back into the delegation quadrant. Remember the buyback principle? Don't hire to grow your business, hire to buy back your time. The reason you're hiring is because you want to stay focused on the production quadrant, not be stuck in the delegation quadrant like the bakery example. Now, you might be excited to start hiring right away, but I know that you are worried about these two things. First, no one does it right. Second, I can't afford it. We'll talk about this in the next lesson, which is lesson number 5, Buyback rate calculation. Before we go to buyback rate calculation, let's go back to your first objection. No one does it right. Yep, you're right. No one can do it better than you because it's your business. So what's the solution? Lower your expectations. Don't aim for 100% perfection. Instead, aim for 80%. Because 80% done by someone else is 100% freaking awesome. You're not having to work on the weekend is 100% awesome. Dan suggests using 10-80-10 rule. You do the initial 10%, let the other person do the other 80%, and you do the final 10% to tidy up the whole process. In this case, you can be sure that the work is still up to your standard, but at the same time, 80% of the work is being handled by somebody else, which could give you more freedom for the things that matter. All right, let's go to your second objection. I can't afford it. Here's where the buyback rate calculation will help. First, you need to know how much you make per hour. According to Dan, your time is worth how much your business pays you divided by 2,000 hours. Pays you means all the profits from your current business, and 2,000 hours is a normal work year. If your company pays you $100,000 a year, divide that by 2,000, then you make $50 per hour. If your company pays you $24,000 a year, that means you make $12 per hour. Now, how much can you afford to pay someone else? Take how much you make per hour and divide that number by 4. Why divide it by 4? Dan says, my rule of thumb is that no one should be performing tasks that they could outsource for 1/4, 25% of their current hourly rate. For example, let's take Tina, a small business owner. Assume she makes $200,000 a year. So how much does she make per hour? First, divide it by 2,000 hours. $200,000 divided by 2,000 equals 100. So her business is paying her $100 per hour. Now, what's her buyback rate? Take 1/4 or 25%. 25% of 100 is $25 per hour. So her buyback rate is $25 per hour. If Tina can pay someone else to do a simple task like invoicing, video editing, or any other activities for $25 an hour, but she's still doing it herself, that means she's not fully utilizing her time for higher value activities that could bring in more money. From now on, there's no task you should be doing that you don't enjoy, which costs less than your buyback rate. So before you start hiring, start with calculating your buyback rate. Lesson number 6. The only 3 trades that matter. There are 3 trades. Level 1 is employee. Level 2 is entrepreneur. Level 3 is empire builder. Let's go one by one. Level 1, employee. An employee trades their time for more money. If you're still trading your time for more money, even though you own a business, that means you're an employee. Level 2, entrepreneur. An entrepreneur trades their time for more time. When you become a real entrepreneur, you stop thinking that working more hours means making more money. Instead, you've embraced a better mindset that, through delegation and replacement, money can buy you more time to spend on building the company. This is the essence of the buyback principle. Level 3 is empire builder. An empire builder trades their money for more money. And here's the deal. You'll never become a level 3 trader without going through levels 1 and 2 first. At this level, your personal life gets really exciting. You have ample time for your kids' soccer game, or sipping espresso, or eating lunch in your garden. Other people run the day-to-day of your business, and you have all the time you want for new investments and opportunities. Your headspace is clear, and your energy is so high. Now the question is, how do we get to level 3? Besides all the things we discussed before, one of the important things you need to do is do a time and energy audit. I will explain this in the next lesson. Lesson number 7, time and energy audit. To understand it better, let me tell you a story from the book about Dan's friend. Dan asked his friend to hire an assistant so he could stop checking his emails. His friend couldn't do it. He refused to let go of his emails. But then one day, he finally let that go. And the question here is, what finally got him to transfer his inbox to an assistant? Well, Dan's friend finally agreed because he started to look at how much energy each task takes, not the time. A task might take you 10 minutes, but it can drain your energy so much that it would negatively impact your whole day and all the other tasks. For example, for me, dealing with accounting tasks takes 1 hour per month, but every time I do it, I feel like I need a vacation. So don't look at your tasks just in terms of time, but also how much energy they take. Protecting your energy and keeping it high is probably the most important thing in life. Here's how you can do a time and energy audit. First, audit your time for a few days and write the tasks that you're doing every 15 minutes in a table format. By the way, I always ignored this advice thinking that I don't waste time, but oh boy, was I wrong. I found out that I'm actually quite good at wasting time on low-value tasks and then selling it back to myself as a high-value task. Once you audited your time, assign dollar amounts to each task using $1 to $4 signs. 1 is for lower value tasks and 4 is for highest value tasks. Highlight everything in red or green. Red is for everything that sucked your energy, everything that made you want to procrastinate or made you feel anxious. Green is for everything that gave you energy. With a time and energy audit, you will have a picture in your hand. First, delete unnecessary work. If you can't delete it, delegate it to the current team members. If no one in the team can do it, use your buyback rate to find someone else to do the work. Lesson number 8, the replacement ladder. The replacement ladder is a tool Dan made to help you figure out who to hire first in your company and who last. Think of it like climbing a ladder. Ladders are administration, delivery, marketing, sales, and leadership. If you hire according to this ladder, you will avoid getting stuck in the replacement quadrant, as most entrepreneurs do. Let's go one by one in detail. 1. Administration. This is the basis. As we discussed in the previous lesson, once we do a time and energy audit, the first thing we do is start delegating low-value tasks to someone else who enjoys it. 2. Delivery. Delivery is the product or service you deliver to the customer. If you have a coffee shop, it's the cappuccino you're selling. If you're a business coach, it's your business coaching. For many entrepreneurs, their company's core product or service is emotionally difficult to outsource because they're good at it. They enjoy every aspect of it. If this is the case with you, then use the 10-80-10 rule. As I have explained before, you do the initial 10%, then someone else does the 80%, then you sail back in and finalize the last 10%. Marketing is the third step on the ladder after administration and delivery. Here's an example to help explain. In the first quarter of your business, you're doing a great job with marketing. You're getting referrals, forming new partnerships, and running ads to attract more customers. In the second quarter, you shift your focus to the delivery ladder, concentrating on your core product or service because it's hard to let go of. Then in your third quarter, you return to your marketing efforts to reach your goals again. This cycle, marketing in the first quarter, focusing on delivery in the second, marketing again in the third, and slowing down in the fourth, prevents your business from growing. Instead, you should delegate marketing to someone else so that every month and every quarter, new customers keep coming in consistently. 4. Sales. Once you've got the administration, the delivery, and the marketing people, now it's time to onboard the salespeople. Dan saves this ladder for the second to last because he knows most entrepreneurs are the best salespeople. No one in the company can do sales better than you, but this doesn't mean that you should keep doing it. Remember, 80% done by someone else is 100% awesome. 5. Leadership. Once you get to this leadership ladder, you can reach a level of freedom. This is where you hire leaders for delivery, marketing, and sales that we discussed earlier. When you reach this ladder, other capable people are running your business. It makes money without your day-to-day involvement. Now you understand the replacement ladder. Let's talk about how to hire correctly. Hiring the wrong person can be extremely costly in terms of time, money, and energy. Not to mention the negative impacts of the wrong person on the other team members. Lesson number 9. Test first. Seth Godin once said, "I can't work with you until I work with you." Here's Dan's 3 rules. 1. I give them a project that is representative of the actual work we will do together. 2. I always pay them. 3. I don't give many instructions. Dan says, "Notice that I don't give many instructions. I want to understand how my potential candidate uses resources and how independently they'll work. I'm allowing them to bring their own creativity, and I'm also teasing out whether this candidate will save me time by figuring things out on their own or cost me time by stalling and refusing to make their own decisions. After hiring, here comes the best part. How do you train this person so that they can perform the task as well as you, or even better? I'll cover this in lesson number 10, how to clone yourself. Here are 4-step processes to create a how-to manual so that even a new hire can clearly understand and do what you do. Step 1, record yourself during the task. I like to use Loom since it captures both the screen and my face. If your business has nothing to do with laptops, for example, you own a coffee shop, you can have someone take a smartphone, record you on how you make the coffee so that next time your staff can make the coffee exactly like you do. And here are 2 important tips about this training video. 1, talking is key. If you explain what you're doing and why you're doing it, it will help your staff to understand you better. Explain why you did what you did and what the thought process is behind it. Remember, you might be doing this so long that most of the things come to you naturally and automatically. So you need to put yourself into the beginner's shoes and explain everything in detail while you do the task. 2, make 3 recordings. Of course, every time you're performing a task, it changes just a little. Every time you do it, it's probably just slightly different. Dan found that 3 is the magic number. If you record yourself 3 times doing the same task, you'll have captured nearly every possible change. Step 2, let's go to the next part of creating your how-to manual, which is jotting down the high-level steps. Here you create a bulleted list of the high-level steps. Let's say you're creating the steps for the task, opening the coffee shop. Here's how the steps may look. Turn on the espresso machine, start the coffee pot, write the coffee of the day on the chalkboard, wait 10 minutes, turn on the open sign. Notice these steps are not too detailed. They simply capture the high-level steps involved. After you have all the training videos and the high-level steps for every task listed out, the next thing you need to do is create a section in your how-to manual called Frequency. Step 3, Frequency. How often should these tasks be completed? Is it monthly, weekly, or daily? In a simple manual, the frequency section may not be necessary because some tasks don't repeat. Step 4, the checklist. The checklist is the high-level items that must be completed every time. Having a checklist ensures that all the important steps that need to be done are actually done. All of these 4 steps may take you some time, but here's the shortcut. Just record yourself and then have your staff watch it and recreate the whole process. This way, you'll know whether they understand it or not. Lesson number 11. 2 time hacks when working with others. Number 1, the 1-3-1 rule. To avoid upward delegation, where staff dump their problems to you, or leaders dump their problems to the CEO, use the 1-3-1 rule. Before staff come to ask for help, ask them to prepare 1 problem that needs to be solved, offer 3 viable solutions to that problem, and they need to make 1 suggestion from those solutions. Number 2, definition of done, DOD. While replacing yourself with staff, you might think, no one ever does it right, or no one can do it better than you. To solve this, give them the definition of done. For example, when Dan asked his admin staff to purchase a whiteboard, he gave them a DOD, which is, the task is done when the whiteboard is hanging on the wall in my office. There are 4 colored markers, red, green, blue, and black, and there's a dry erase marker handy. If you don't give your staff your definition of done, they might be doing it according to their own style, and you will get frustrated. No one does it right because you don't tell them how to make it right, just like the way you do it. Next time you ask your staff to do something, include a DOD. Any task like preparing a financial report, marketing report, or just any other task. Lesson number 12, transactional management versus transformational management. In transactional management, you're micromanaging every decision. In transformational leadership, you're helping your teammates make better decisions in the long run. Don't tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do and let them surprise you with their results. As Steve Jobs said, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do. With transformational leadership, you stop leading by telling someone how to do something and instead tell them what needs to get done. So what's the difference in instruction for transactional management versus transformational leadership? Here's an example. For transactional management, the instruction will be, James, you need to make more sales calls. But for transformational leadership, your instruction sounds clearer. James, you need to hit $100,000 in sales by the end of the quarter. How can James get this done? Well, that's up to James. When the solution is up to your staff, they're more likely to be excited about it and champion the decision. Forcing employees to get creative and think of their own solutions often leads to increased efficiency and better outcomes. They begin offering their energy, not just their skills. They start asking themselves, is there a better way? Lesson number 13, plan your perfect week. 1, be proactive. If you don't plan and prioritize, you'll end up working on somebody else's priorities. 2, plan around your energy. Some people notice they have high energy in the early morning. You have to plan your task according to your energy. If you're best at coding early in the morning, then you should organize your time slot where early mornings are blocked for coding. 3, task batching. When you batch similar tasks together, you're able to get in a flow state and get more done. 4, say no often. When you design your week ahead of time, you'll understand exactly what you must say no to in order to say yes to the things that matter. And now let's go to the last lesson, which is lesson 14. Create a clear 10 times vision. In the book, Dan reminds us to create a clear 10-time vision for these 4 elements: team, one business, empire, lifestyle. Number 1, team. To accomplish your dream, visualize who's in your team. Who will be there in the room with you? Who will join your team to execute your brilliant ideas? 2, one business. Some people brag about having 2, 3, 4 businesses, but you need to become world-class in one area. For example, Steve Jobs had Apple, Bill Gates had Microsoft. What is the one thing you want to be known for? 3, empire. After you've imagined that one business, then consider your empire. This should come from your core, high-level skills in your production quadrant. What products do you have? Are you in multiple industries? Are you an investor in some companies and a CEO in others? Is there a company to connect all these, or are they all from multiple interests? 4, lifestyle. Imagine yourself 10 years into the future of your dream life. What are you doing? Living in Paris? Multiple vacations? Who will you be with? What hobbies will you have? The whole idea in buying back your time is to spend more time doing what you love, and also the ones that bring in more money. That's how to build your life where you don't need a vacation. As Dan says, the buyback principle isn't an activity you do once then quit. It's a philosophy, one that requires you to constantly audit how you're spending your time, consider how to transfer time-consuming, low-value tasks, then, importantly, fill your new time with what lights you up and makes you money. If you're watching this video, then I assume you have a business. I have already summarized several business books for entrepreneurs to improve their personal and business life. I will put them as a playlist on the screen. If interested, check it out. Thanks a lot for watching and hope this video helped you just a little bit.